Hey folks, Rich here at RCINFORMER. Today I have a first at RCINFORMER. This is the first helicopter that we've shown on the channel. And for those of you that don't know, many years ago, back in the 80s, if you go to the RCINFORMER.com, there's a little history there, and I show some of the helicopters I used to fly, because I started with helicopters a long time ago, got into airplanes later, and really hadn't got much back into helicopters, but I've flown them over the years here and there. They've had some tremendous innovations. And this one is pretty sweet, guys. This is the XK EC145 Eurocopter, 6-channel, brushless. It has a gyro, does 3D, flies inverted, but it is a full-function collective pitch helicopter, guys, with stabilization. This is coming from MotionRC, this one in particular, and it's all ready to go. Everything's in here. You got the radio, you got the battery, you got a spare set of rotors, all that stuff, and I'll show you everything. The rotor span is only 232 millimeters, which is like 9.5 or 9.8 inches, so it's a very tiny helicopter. And we're going to get it out of the box and show it to you. It's got all kinds of stabilization. Comes with a Futaba FHSS protocol, which is, I've had some Futaba radios with that. You can also get this in MotionRC without the radio, and it's like receiver or radio ready, or it's got the receiver in it, I guess, or bind and fly type thing. And you can use your own Futaba radio, and it's a lot less. So, but this comes in a real nice package. You can transport it in this if you need to go places with it. Flies on a single 6-cell. But let's get out of the box and we'll take a look. Pretty simple, straightforward. I'm going to try and keep this as concise as I can, but they do give you some. It's kind of a Chinglish instruction manual. I kind of went through one already, and there are some parameters you could change, but this is it right off the bat, folks. Let's take a look at the radio first. Let's get this thing out of here. I'm going to try and do this in one take so I don't have to get too complex with anything on this, but you can see how the radio comes out of here. I don't think there's any labeling on it, but you can put all this stuff back in, like I said, and transport it nicely in a box if you want to take your RC flying, helicopter flying, like wherever you want to go. And you can see it comes nicely packaged overall. The only thing that you got to include with this thing is you do have to add batteries to the transmitter. And you can see right here, it's a nice little transmitter. It's got different modes. It's got a throttle cut here. And we'll talk about some of this stuff later on. One of these is 3D. The other one is high. This one's high-low rate, I believe, and this one's for like the 3D flight mode and stuff. You got to land to get that set. It's got a nice little jog controller here. And again, there's where your batteries go. So you do have to put A cells in here. Everything's included except for the 6 batteries, of course. But that's kind of to be expected. But it's a real nice all-in-one sort of kit. So we'll get the parts out. And let's take a look at all the stuff that's in here. This is everything that comes in this parts thing. I don't have to dump that out. It comes with, there's your battery. Okay, single battery. I believe it was a 700 milliamp, 3.7 volt. Okay, so standard 1-cell. 700 milliamp with a kind of a dual charger. It takes a while to charge with this thing, but it will charge 2 at the same time. You plug it into any USB port, your computer, wall charger, whatever you got. Also comes with a screwdriver to put stuff together, a spare tail rotor. These are the screws for the main blade, so you don't want to lose those. A spare main gear, and it looks like a hole is an Allen wrench to put those on the rotors on with. And then you have spare rotor blades. So you have 2 complete sets of rotor blades. I believe it comes with 8. Helicopter has 4, and these are your tail fins that just kind of snap on. You could see those in place if you want to, but that's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. And then the helicopter itself, this is really cool the way this comes out of here. And again, this is good, suitable for transport. You can put everything right back in the box. You got a nice handle, and if you want to take, you know, your RC flying somewhere and do a little flying somewhere, this is really nice that you can do that. You can get everything back in the box and transport it easily. The detail on this thing is simply awesome. Dual wiper blades. It's got the simulated wire cutters here in case, you know, if you're flying in a full-scale helicopter and you run into wires. That's what these were for on the full scale, is to cut those wires so it doesn't take the helicopter down. So whoever's got the wires or the power line is going to be pretty upset, but you get to survive the incident anyway. But you can see there's a tail rotor motor, separate motor for it, little tail skid. Here, right here, is where your 2 fins, your horizontal stabilizers back there, will plug right into that thing. And just great detail all the way around. Look at that collective pitch rotor head. It is just phenomenal, the detail and everything that goes into this. So When I pop the front cowl off, and you see it has 2 rare earth magnets in the back that it connects with, and it's got a little clip in the back on the bottom, the underside. You can see it's kind of like a little hook deal, and that hooks onto that little spar right there. But that's really it, guys. There's a landing light right on the nose that's nice and bright. And here's your antenna. I believe this is probably your receiver module here. This is your speed controller under there. Everything's all hooked up and ready to go in your battery slot. Your battery goes right in and you make your connection there. But what I want to show you is look at the detail of this swash plate and the, I think it's a 120-degree swash plate setup here. So you've got two servos in the back, one on the right, one on the left, and then one up front. And they all move up and down together to give it that collective pitch. And then they all move in unison to pitch and roll the helicopter. There's your little brushless motor down in there, your main gear at the bottom in case you damage it. You do have a spare. But look at the intricacy of that thing. Just a beautiful rotor head overall. Looks like they're carbon fiber blade holders. You've got your rotor, miniature rotor brake on the top. And just a beautiful swash plate. Just nice 6-channel, or I should say collective pitch helicopter that is just absolutely miniaturized in every detail. It's just pretty amazing. It even has rivets on it. But just one cool machine, and you can see how easy this whole thing is to get together and to take apart. So we will be getting this out flying this. I have flown one a little bit. Let me see if I can get this on here. You got to make sure that that little hook is kind of lined up on that bar, and then it kind of snaps into place. If I can get it on there, let's get those top magnets are on there. You want to make sure those magnet in place there, and then that should snap. There we go, and that's the snap I was looking for. But it has its own landing light, so really, really cool overall. Now, let me get this thing together real quick, and I'll plug it in, and we'll just take a look at it all plugged in. Okay, folks, there you have it, fully assembled. It even comes with its own Allen wrench, and all you have to do is just put one screw in for each rotor blade and tighten them down. They will self-tap, as you can see, into the bottom there. You can see the screws sticking out of the bottom. And that's it. You want them to be on there relatively tight, but you do want them to move a little bit because they will lead and lag on their own. As it spools up, they'll find their correct place with centrifugal force. And then all you got to do is just put your fins on there, and that is it. You don't even need to glue them. You can if you want to, but they will break away if you have a crash, which is nice instead of breaking. So anyway, I went ahead and put some batteries in here. Nothing but the best. Kirkland, there's 6 of them in there, A-cell batteries. We'll turn that on. We'll make a quick pre-flight check of all of this stuff. Left and right ailerons working, forward and back elevator, left and right rudder, and then throttle also. Now we're not seeing the throttle move there in the window right here because I got the kill on. As soon as you flip that switch, you'll get throttle movement out of everything. So now that that's plugged in, let's go ahead and plug this thing in here, guys. I will go ahead and get my battery fully charged. Let's see. It's again 700 milliamp, single cell LiPo. We'll put that in there. Let's get that up in place. We'll go ahead and just plug this thing in. And I'm going to try to do this while I'm looking at this because it's a little challenging trying to get this all in there off camera. There's a lot of wiring and stuff going on here. Let's see, I got to look at this thing. Trying to do this on the camera is tougher than you might think, but get these things lined up. Looks like that's lined up underneath. That snaps into place. Okay, magnets are there on the sides in place. And that's it, guys. So let me take the throttle kill off, see if that's off. The light comes on and the rotor will spin just like this. It'll spool up and it'll get you ready to go. So let's see if we can do, you know what? Let's do another first at RCINFORMER here. Let's do a little hover test of it right here. Let's put this thing right down here. I've got everything all plugged in. We'll see if we can do a little bit of on-camera hovering here. And here we go. We'll just power it on up. The vibration will go away. Just as soon as those blades lead and lag and start tracking, we'll get it into just a little hover right here. Check out the stabilization. And it does fairly well, guys. First flight right out of the box. Just outstanding. That's all I really want to do with it. Just give you guys a little bit of a hover demo. Very nice that I can hover right here on film. Once again, guys, a first at RC Informer here. Hovering right on camera in the house. Just phenomenal. Stabilization's awesome, folks. Here, let me go ahead and land this right out front. Touch that down. I probably have to adjust some of the pitch curves and stuff. I'll go ahead and hit my throttle kill so it can't come up anymore on me, so we can take a look at this thing much, much closer. But really impressive helicopter, guys. That's the first time I've actually done that and flown something right in front of me here in the house. Let's take a close look at that swash plate and see how all that stuff is moving in there. We've got our collective pitch. Again, the power's off. You can see all those servos moving together in unison. And you can adjust your pitch curves, your throttle curves, really in everything all the way around. Look at that thing. And then your tail rotor is speed controlled, but here's your left, here's your right, or I should say, there's your left, and there's your right, and there's your forward, and there's your back. This is just really impressive. Look at all those little servos moving in there to do this stuff. Just very, very impressive. I'm just blown away by this, folks. So we'll get it out there, give you guys a little more comprehensive flight review. It really is intended more or less for probably indoor flying, but guys are flying this thing outdoors and everything. But one sweet helicopter. Be checking for the full-on, guys, full-on flight demo that I'm going to do of this outside. We'll do probably several videos here, and then of course Ceph, Joe Nall, E-Week, all that stuff. Well, oop, I got a wire stuck out. We'll get this out there probably too and fly it around for everybody. I usually, all these things I review, guys, I bring them to all the big events and everything. But overall, folks, just real impressed. I'm going to try and get this. Can be kind of cumbersome when you're trying to do this on the camera while you're filming it, looking through the viewfinder or looking through the screen. But there we go. It's in place. Just outstanding, folks. I'm real impressed with this this little thing coming from MotionRC, this little XK helicopter. But spool that up just again there. You can kind of see what that looks like. Just awesome, folks. I'm really impressed with this thing overall. Check this out, guys. Stay tuned for the flight demo. We'll have a flight demo out soon. Check this out at MotionRC. They do have a whole bunch of other different helicopters, but I'll probably try some of the other ones out too. And be looking for the flight demo, guys. Thanks for watching RC Informer, and as always, we'll see you next time.